I decided to put this session together after listening to a conversation between Sam Harris and a guest on the Waking Up app. At one point, there was a discussion of whether certain mind states, such as shame, might no longer arise after the recognition of non-dual awareness. The conversation suggested that shame might not be compatible with non-dual awareness. That struck me as an odd claim. In this session is my attempt to offer a peek into my experience, which doesn't confirm that view. You don't need to do anything formal here. Just gaze out toward the horizon. Let's take a few minutes to explore some characteristics of non-dual awareness more clearly, together. In earlier sessions, we explored thoughts, how they arise, where they appear, what they feel like. We practiced noticing them, noticing their pull. But eventually, something more profound might happen, maybe gradually, maybe in an instant. You recognize that thoughts don't arise to a self. They arise in experience. Experience not being some conceptual knowledge like, of course, I know I'm experiencing life right now. That's not it. There is a recognition, a shifted view, that what represents experience is actually this whole landscape. We are not outside of this represented model created by the mind. We are the totality of the landscape. No claims can be made that we're the tree over there. You're not a tree. But might there be a tree included in the totality of what's experienced right now? Thoughts that appear have equal weighting in the totality of experience. And suddenly, the question shifts from, what am I thinking, to, is there something to do with this that's appearing? Let's be clear. The recognition of non-dual awareness doesn't remove thoughts. It doesn't end anger or shame or sadness. It doesn't replace storm clouds with endless sunshine. Thoughts still arise. Emotions still color the sky as long as there's a functioning human mind. That's not failure. That's not missing the mark. That's just how the system works. Unless there's brain trauma, a stroke, or some neurological disruption, thoughts will come. That's not the problem. What changes is the vantage point. When experience moves from the perspective of a self, an unfindable subject on the edge of this entire landscape, a presupposed subject consumed by the storm of thoughts, moves to the recognition as awareness. What makes us us is actually this entire landscape, of which a pop-up storm of thoughts is just a smaller sliver. Again, not as a concept, but actually noticed as available. Do this right now. Look at something in front of you. Without moving your eyes or shifting your focus, become aware of the edges of your visual field. Notice how far to the left and right the field extends. How much space is being seen all at once? Now here's the key insight. Everything you're noticing, everything in the scene, is not being looked at by a separate self. It's here, included in the consciousness landscape. There's nothing mystical about it. This is just what the brain is generating, a moment of your moment-to-moment experience. And right now, there's nothing noticed that is appearing outside of that experience. If you want to go a little deeper into this inspection, check out Lesson 10. Instead of being inside the story of thought, the story is noticed to unfold as part of a larger happening. Thoughts occur as a sliver of the piece of this more expansive experience. Experience is not detached, but free. It's like looking out from above the weather, not stuck in the winds. From that view, thoughts don't need to be controlled. They can be seen as ever-changing weather in the field, transient weather, and emotions, even the difficult ones, are no longer problems to fix. They're momentary conditions, recognized, allowed, and experienced as they pass. Some thoughts do call for action, and in this awareness, that's still possible, more possible even, because the mind is clear. But most thoughts don't require action. They're just passing currents. And the beauty of the right view of awareness is that you can see that difference. You can recognize when something really matters and when it's just habit or noise or old wiring replaying itself. Even anger may arise from a thought as it is generated in the brain, but the storyline around it doesn't stick in the same way. Shame may echo from past mistakes or even a novel thought generated in the brain, but it's no longer fused with the sense of self. It's seen to be fused with a narrative, and it diminishes and wanes in moments. And being able to recognize the fusion of a thought or thoughts with the subsequent negative energy isn't a problem to solve in that moment, but seen as a curiosity and a guide to less future negative energy. Noticing that this action is associated with this negative energy, the salience of that coupling is the path towards rewiring neural networks. Shame becomes a guide, not a problem. You might still feel tightness in the chest, but now that tightness is just another sensation, part of the whole landscape, not a threat to your identity. You're not avoiding experience. It's actually the opposite. You're just not caught in the illusion that these emotions or thoughts are all that you are. You're not the one caught in the rain. What makes you, you, is actually the whole field in which the rain falls. There's a kind of gentle presence to it all. Definitely not apathy, not numbness, but a quiet clarity. And a soft sense of gratitude arises, not for anything specific, just for being here to witness this moment, whatever this landscape reveals. Nothing needs to be added. Nothing needs to be removed. Hopefully, this explains why there is no need to escape thoughts. You're not trying to become someone who never feels shame, or frustration, or confusion. These mind states can actually reveal important information. What you've seen is that experience is whole as it is. Thoughts still arise, some light, some heavy. You see the weather for what it is, and you are the space in which it all appears. So thank you for being here. If this shift resonates, share this with someone else who might be quietly wondering if there's more. And as always, stay curious. We'll be back next time.